you can do is just tell the truth and trust in the American people that over time they're going to know what the truth is.
Yes, it is time for the truth. Right here, right now. This is the Conservative Syndicate. Real conservative talk from real conservatives. With your host, John Matthews.
It's a latter-day prophet. Baying against the hypocrisies of our time.
And Joe Hakos.
You want answers. I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
The Conservative Syndicate is comprised of some of the most informed pundits and activists available today. Together, we seek to tear down the imaginary wall of separation between church and state through education, information, and engagement on the religion of politics and the politics of religion. And now, your host on the globally syndicated Conservative Syndicate, John Matthews and Joe Hakos.
All right, hey, how are we doing out there? All across this great land of ours and around the world, it's time for the Conservative Syndicate, coming to you live right now, coast to coast and around the world, where it's prime time, sometime, all the time, someplace. And we're glad to have you with us today. Boy, I tell you what, one of the things I kept hearing last night after the Trump-Clinton debate, and I heard it really on both sides of the political asylum, is that the fact that Trump was basically a miracle worker last night. He just basically salvaged his campaign to live another day. I think the way I heard it somewhere from one of the leftists out there. And some of the other people, we're back to starting. It's not over, folks. It's not over. Well, we've been saying that. It's not over. And I don't even care if the next debate is a debacle for Donald Trump. It's not over. It's not over because there are things out there in the wind that are telling us that this is no slam dunk for Hillary, and I think a lot of that came out in the debate last night. So having said that, I want to bring on my partner in crime, Joe Hakos. How you doing, Joe?
I am doing wonderful, John. Miracle worker, no. It's what he should have done the first debate, and it would have been just fine. I started actually listening to, the people that actually put him in the position to be where he's at.
Yeah. I really think I'm getting a kick. I really am. I have to be honest about this. I'm really getting a kick out of watching the Republican Party squirm. They don't know whether to endorse or not to endorse. They don't know whether to run and hide. They have no idea what to do right now, and I just love that. And that's been the whole story of this election. One of the things I did hear from one of the commentators last night, I think it was on CNN. I don't even know who they were. They got so many people on their panel. I mean, they got panel. It's like 20 people, that kind of thing. And that is that this whole thing, that the way this is going down, is it's so unpredictable and it's so unexplainable. That's the big thing. The media is trying so hard to explain something that is unexplainable because they refuse to see the writing on the wall. They just don't want to look and acknowledge and admit that the reason it is the way it is because of the way it is. It's not hard to figure out. What do you think?
I think it's just these people are I no longer care, to be honest with you. As far as I'm concerned, I'm to the point where, you know what, if people don't care about what Hillary Clinton's done in the past or what the Clinton Foundation has done or Bill has done and all that stuff, that they don't care, I don't care the other direction, man. I really don't care anymore because that sounds kind of cold and heartless, but that's what those people are, cold and heartless. So I'm just in the opposite direction. This comes down to the heart and soul of this country, and we've got 28 days to figure it out. Yeah. And I've already figured it out. I'm not playing anymore. Screw this. The complicit media. It's absolutely. You could see it out there for the past week. It was just a joke. Yeah. It was absolutely a joke. And then to watch that debate last night with Raddatz and Cooper, it was just, and Trump actually said it. It's 3-1 out here, and he's absolutely right. It was just ridiculous. And you've got all the questions that were put forth, quote unquote, by the people. It was just like, really, what people? These people from Cuba? Where are they from? That kind of thing. I mean, it's just ridiculous. I've had enough. These people, I'm not willing to give up the country that freely, and so I'm going to go down kicking and screaming now.
Well, we saw feminism at its best last night, as far as the moderators go. Anderson Cooper was nothing less than a wimp. He didn't say anything other than read the questions. Even when Donald asked him, hey, why aren't you going after her, Anderson? Why aren't you asking? He asked, Anderson, why are you not asking her about her emails? Yeah, well, I guess, they got my testicles in a jar, Donald. But Radice was the power player. She was the one that kept telling the audience to be quiet, and she was the one that, Trump's asking, well, why aren't we doing this? Why? Hey, you're giving her more time. You interrupt me after 2 seconds. You're giving her an extra minute. All this, that, and the other. And she just tried to play the hardball feminist Nazi. So,
you have to remember that Anderson Cooper's a homosexual.
Yeah.
So he doesn't. If he even had balls, he wouldn't know how to use them anyway.
But yeah, I get that. I don't know. Obviously, he knows how to use them. Just doesn't know how to use them properly. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Whatever. I think he has to have little crayon drawings in a little crayon book.
Yeah.
Like that. What was that thing? The last election with Obama, he had that life of whoever it was. It was like, oh, this is how you live your life as someone that loves to have the government tell you how to live.
Yeah. Well, let me get your take on this, Joe. Let's get some of the let's get the paparazzi stuff out of the way so we can get into some of the substance later on. There was actually some substance in this debate to some degree, so I was kind of fascinated by that. What effect do you think Donald Trump bringing those 4 women into the debate had?
Oh, I think it scared the crap out of Clinton. Have you seen the pictures of him?
No.
Oh my God, he was looking over there. It's like, and then I saw someone put a meme on. Someone had a picture of him looking over there. It was like a split screen and showed the 4 women over there, Juanita Broderick, etc. And Clinton over there looking. Said, "Does anybody know how many restraining orders I'm breaking right now?" It was like, and it was perfect. It's what needed to be done.
Yeah,
it's absolutely what needs to be done because these people need to be reminded. There's a lot of people out there, these young folks that haven't got a clue as to what Hillary Clinton did on behalf of her husband. Working that war room, starting the MoveOn.org started because of that stuff going on. So they could fund their defense fund because of what Bill was doing. This is just
there was 2 things that stood out to me, and I heard it reiterated this morning on some of the talk shows that I watched too as I was out on the road this morning. One of the things was you find it's more than hypocritical that we have Democrats out there screaming about this sexism of Donald Trump when everything that they do and the legislation they pass and the demographics that they pander to are all about being able to do whatever you want. That's what freedom is in the minds of a Democrat, is it not? To be able to do whatever you want with whoever you want, be able to marry whoever or whatever you feel like marrying, to have sex and contraception paid for, and to be able to abort babies because you feel that you can't handle the consequences. All these other things. See, this is the kind of stuff that I talk about a lot when I'm talking to Christian crowds. This is what happens. It's called reaping what you sow. You guys the Democrats have been out there now for decades passing or legislating immorality. And now that it's happening, or if something like this comes to surface, and all of a sudden they're moralists. All of a sudden they're worried about it. On the other side of it, the Republicans. Isn't it the Republicans that keep saying we need more moderates? Okay. We got to win. How are we going to win with all these conservative, right-wing, extremist, Bible-thumping Christians? Well, we need moderates, and now you got people like Paul Ryan doesn't even know whether to endorse or not to endorse, doesn't know whether to run and hide or whether to just stand behind the curtain. So it's like, they're both sides are reaping what they've sown, and the idea, as you said, this whole thing about Bill Clinton. I mean, see, I do have a comment about this. This is something I surmised as I was watching this thing go down over the weekend, actually prior to the weekend. And that is this. I got like 1 minute here, and we'll go to break, and we'll get back here. Here's the deal. I wondered why or how Hillary Clinton was going to trot this whole thing out to begin with. I thought, why would she even venture into that, knowing that the counterpunch is going to be about her husband? And so when she went ahead and trotted it out, I went, wow, this is really, when it was with the Miss Universe thing. I've been thinking about it since then. I'm like, why would she be trotting this out and knowing that this is going to be the counterpunch? Why would she do that? What would be the benefits of doing that? And you know what popped in my mind? Gloria Allred. Mm-hmm. Gloria Allred is famous out here in California for going out and finding sluts and illegal immigrants and everything else to try to kill a candidate that's winning. And she's very successful at it, has been very successful at it. She's the one that brought down Arnold Schwarzenegger, that kind of thing. So here, I'm thinking, you know what? They have known this for a while. And what was going to happen, this was going to be their trump card. If Trump came at them about Bill Clinton, they were going to throw this out there. But what's happened is, where it backfired is, I think a lot of American people are just saying, I don't care anymore.
That's where I'm at. I don't care.
Yeah.
They don't care about whatever Hillary and Bill have done. They don't care about the foundation being just a conduit for pay to play. I don't care anymore. I mean, just as Trump was talking about the emails and everything, I just don't care anymore. These people do not care. You cannot tell them anything, and it's like, all right, fine. You can have you want to have your two separate systems here. One's for the Clintons and one's for everybody else. Well, that stuff don't fly, and I do not care. Yeah.
We got to go to a break. When we come back, I want to expound just a little bit more on this thought I had about this being something that they've had in their hands for a while. And the reason that there's a reason behind it, but we got to go to break right now. We'll be right back. Stay with us right here at the Conservative Syndicate. A healthy attitude toward politics will always be relentlessly cynical. TheConservativeSyndicate.net, doing our part to keep America healthy.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. Then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-790-5960. That's 1-800-790-5960. Again, 1-800-790-5960. Call now.
Limited time offer, 24-month commitment and credit qualification require cancellation fee, auto pay, and paperless billing and other restrictions apply. If you can't see the difference, why pay the difference? Switch to Dish for the best deal in entertainment. Only Dish brings you the best in entertainment for less than $20 a month. Cut the cable and don't get directed. Switch to Dish because at just $19.99, Dish saves you every time you turn on the TV. It's so simple. The same channels cost less with Dish. So since you can't see the difference, don't pay the difference. Switch to Dish for the best deal in entertainment. Get premium movie channels free for 3 months, starting at just $19.99. Dish saves you every time you turn on the TV. Call now to save with Dish. Dial 1-800-600-1645. That's 1-800-600-1645. The same channels for less than $20 a month. Dish. Call 1-800-600-1645 for details.
Hey folks, if you're like me, you don't place a whole lot of trust in today's media for the real truth and facts regarding the volatile world of finance and politics. When I want the real scoop on money, I go to the most trusted source I know, my good friend and colleague, Bob Cardosa. Bob is a noted expert with a PhD in international finance who airs his nationally known, globally syndicated show, Robert Cardosa Live Daily, Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific Time. With Bob, you get the right information at the right time from someone who knows his business and can help you make the right decisions concerning yours. Again, Bob airs daily, Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific Time. Visit his website at robertcardosalive.com for information regarding stations and topics. That's robertcardosalive.com. Check Bob out. You'll be glad you did.
Attention taxpayers. If you've received a notice from the IRS or state, do not ignore it. It's also a big mistake to try and handle your tax problem on your own. If you owe back taxes, it's a fact that the government has the power to take everything you own, including your home, business, wages, savings, and your freedom. But here's the good news. There's a special toll-free tax hotline set up especially for you. This tax hotline will tell you about new programs that are geared to help you dramatically settle, reduce, or eliminate what you owe. But you have to call now. Take down this number or put it in your cell phone. But call 866-761-0959. 1-866-761-0959. When you call, you get free information on how you can reduce or eliminate back taxes, including penalties and interest. You can also be helped if you have unfiled returns, a tax lien, wage garnishment, bank levy, or if you've been entered into a payment plan but can't make the payments. Don't make the big mistake in thinking you can ignore or handle your tax problem on your own. You can stop the collection process immediately. Call this special tax hotline today for free info at 1-866-761-0959. That's 1-866-761-0959. 1-866-761-0959.
Don't get your panties all in a bunch.
The Conservative Syndicate.net, exposing weapons of mass distraction. All right, hey, we're back, and you're listening to the Conservative Syndicate, real conservative talk from real conservatives, and I'm your host, John Matthews, along with Joe Hakos, and let me just finish up my thought here. I don't want to spend a whole lot of time rambling today. It's probably going to take us the better part of the week to get through some of the things that we want to talk about in terms of this debate. Not the debate itself, but some of the things that were said during the debate in terms of substance and context, because that's the big spin now from the left. Everything that Donald Trump, if you listen to Hillary Clinton, all she was talking about, every time Trump said something, her response was, that's absolutely false. Go to my website where we have real-time fact checkers that will tell you the truth and exactly what's going on. We're going to talk about that. Joe sent me an article earlier, 5 things that Hillary Clinton claimed that were lies. Now, apparently, her fact checkers weren't working. But my last thought on this is the idea that, I was really kind of perplexed why Hillary Clinton would dare to open up that can of worms. And why would she risk exposing, as Joe said, a lot of people, a lot of the millennials in particular, that don't have any knowledge or remembrance of what went down back in the 90s with Bill Clinton and Monica Lewinsky and Paula Jones and some of the other women out there. And certainly I wasn't even politically active back when Hillary Clinton defended the rapist of the 12-year-old and then laughed about it, thought that the girl was fantasizing about getting raped by her grandpa, things like that. So I thought, geez, why would she risk that? Well, it's because the whole campaign of Hillary Clinton is about Donald Trump being a hater. That's what the entire campaign is. She referred to it several times last night and in the other debates and at all of her rallies. Not only is he a sexist, but he's Islamophobic, he's xenophobic, he hates he doesn't like the blacks, hates the Mexicans, and wants to keep the Muslims out of the country, all this stuff. And so it played into the narrative, and I thought, well, if she got some fresh ammo, to just keep the narrative going without sounding too much like a parrot, I guess that was a strategy. Well, the problem is, I think that, at a certain point in time, Americans come to this point where they're like, can we just kind of move on? Can we just get beyond all this stuff? I mean, think about the fact that, as I said, the Republicans, who have always been talking about the need for moderates to win. We don't need the conservatives. We don't need the evangelicals. We need the moderates. That is society. We need to reach out to the youth. We need to reach out to minorities. We need to reach out to the independents. And all those people are people that hold immorality as a not important in terms of everything else. It's all about the economy, stupid. Okay, that's the thing, and it's all about rights and everything else. So it all plays into this thing where I just really think we'll know in a couple of days. We'll see what the polls turn out. What the polls are saying, or if they try to skew it and make it look like it didn't. It wasn't a Trump victory. But even Van Jones on CNN last night conceded that Donald Trump won the debate. Now that's a big deal. Okay, any thoughts from you, Joe?
This stuff with what they're doing. I'm looking at the Donald Trump report from the Democratic National Committee. This is from December 19th last year. All right, And just to give you just some context here. Here's some of the highlights for it. Donald Trump is as loyal to himself. Donald Trump's a liar. Trump proposed banning all Muslims. Trump's campaign is divided by offensive and extreme immigration rhetoric. Trump has repeatedly offended minorities with demeaning comments. He's a bad businessman. Trump's business has gone into bankruptcy multiple times. Have we heard any of these things before recently in like a couple of debates here? Repeal. This is talking about Obamacare. Repeal without a plan on health care. Trump on military sexual assault. Trump has devalued and demeaned women repeatedly throughout his career. This is all stuff that they've had for almost a year now. It's just when they're going to bring it out. That's us all, and they're going to bring out more stuff.
Okay, so you're confirming what I've been saying then. And they've had their hands on this stuff for quite a while then.
Absolutely, they've had this on for quite a while, and they sat on it. They sat on it well until this is from December of last year. We had to go through the primary process and everything else and the conventions, and they were going to bring this out, and I knew they were going to bring this out, and so did Trump. If I have this, they have this. And if they don't have this, then they don't deserve to be running anyway. For crying out loud, this is not hard to find.
Well, the thought process, what the thought process is on stuff like this is they have this stuff, but they hold it back in hopes that he would have already imploded, that it would already be over, that she'd already be ahead by 55 points.
Yeah, I get that. They weren't going to put this out there because they figured Donald Trump, if Donald Trump got the nomination, he'd be the guy that they'd want to have there because they could just beat Donald Trump with this stuff. Yeah. Oh, they found out one thing. People don't care about some of this stuff. I know I don't care about it because I see what Hillary Clinton's been allowed to get away with. The FBI is now politicized into nothingness. So it's like, wow, as Trump said, you got the Attorney General meeting with Bill Clinton on a tarmac out there in Arizona. Gee, right before, the FBI comes out and says, there's nothing to see here now. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Now, I want to make one comment. I'm kind of just trying to get some preliminary stuff out of the way here. Some of the noteworthy things that we really have to pay attention to. I thought I don't want to spend a whole lot of time talking about the moderators. I think we already talked about them enough as we need to. They performed as expected. Okay. Yep. I really got a kick out of Rada. She was really getting pissed off that the audience was applauding and expressing themselves. Well, we'll have none of that here. You guys really need to get it in order. That kind of go get a life. All right. I'm pretty bad when the moderator's trying to debate the candidate on policy. Here, I got a clip with that.
Okay.
Let's just play this clip. This is Martha Raddatz at the end. And this is just typical though. So here we go.
What do you think will happen if Aleppo falls?
I think Aleppo is a disaster humanitarian-wise.
What do you think will happen if it falls?
I think that it basically has fallen, okay? It basically has fallen. Let me tell you something. You take a look at Mosul. The biggest problem I have with the stupidity of our foreign policy. We have Mosul. They think a lot of the ISIS leaders are in Mosul. So we have announcements coming out of Washington and coming out of Iraq. We will be attacking Mosul in 3 weeks or 4 weeks. Well, all of these bad leaders from ISIS are leaving Mosul. Why can't they do it quietly? Why can't they do the attack, make it a sneak attack, and after the attack is made, inform the American public that we've knocked out the leaders, we've had a tremendous success. People leave. Why do they have to say we're going to be attacking Mosul within the next 4 to 6 weeks, which is what they're saying? How stupid is our country?
There are sometimes reasons the military does that. Psychological warfare.
I can't think of any.
It might be to help get civilians out.
Yeah, thanks, Martha. Thanks for interjecting some of that. Really? That was just come on, Martha. Really? Why don't we have Hillary Clinton defend herself and the Obama administration's just the way they're fighting the war on terror?
And any time that the military would do that, and it wouldn't be something that they would announce to the American public to begin with. It would be some form of maybe misinformation that you would put out on the ground. If you were, you're sitting there and you're facing a certain adversary, you want a certain cause and effect. Maybe you want to delay something. Maybe you want to see if you can get them to back off or move in a different direction. And so maybe you'll float some counterintelligence out there, maybe misinformation, for the purpose of saying, oh, yeah, we're going to, they did it a lot during I remember watching the documentary in the Revolutionary War. There was a lot of misinformation that was going back and forth between the revolutionaries and the British. So the military may use it for a strategic purpose, but it doesn't have any strategic purpose if you're announcing it on the 6 o'clock news. So the only reason that it's being done is not because of the military leaders, it's because of the political leaders. The political leaders are thinking Obama was trying to scare everybody. He's his red lines in the sand and everything else. It was all like, you've really made me mad, and let's send Hans Blix over there with a letter telling him, we're going to do this. If you do this, we're going to do this. And people like Putin and Assad and people like that are looking at the United States today going, blow it up your butt. We'll do what we want to do. You're not going to do squat, man. You don't believe in occupation. You don't believe in nuclear war. You don't believe in anything. You think you're going to solve everything sitting here at the table, kissing my ass. And giving me everything I want. And I'll take everything you want, but I'll cut your head off in a New York minute, dude.
Yeah, but the thing is Martha Raddatz doesn't need to be out there telling Donald Trump in a debate as a moderator anything about that. It's not her position to do that. It's like, thank you, Martha. So when Donald Trump said, hey, it's 3 against 1, absolutely. And there's an example of it. It's like, wow. So Martha's in there. And it's, here, Donald, let me explain to you how it's supposed to work. Oh, I'm sorry, Martha. You're just supposed to sit there, keep track of the time, and ask questions. Yeah, well, I was, as you were talking here, I was just thinking, Donald Trump should, here would have been a great line. This would have been a great line if Trump had thought of this. 2.5 men. It's 2.5 men. Instead of saying 3 and 1, saying, well, I think I'm faring very well here against 2.5 men. that would have been a good shot at Anderson Cooper. Cooper again. I have one of him trying to corner Mr. Trump. Want to play that one now? Let's go ahead. Go ahead. All right, here's Anderson Cooper. I got him. He's trying to corner Trump into a position here.
Herb was talking about in terms of the 3 a.m. phone call. Let's roll with 1B. Go.
In the days after the first debate, you sent out a series of tweets from 3 a.m. to 5 a.m., including one that told people to check out a sex tape. Is that the discipline of good leader?
No, it wasn't check out a sex tape. It was just take a look at the person that she built up to be this wonderful Girl Scout who was no Girl Scout. By the way, just so you understand, when she said 3 o'clock in the morning, take a look at Benghazi. She said, who's going to answer the call at 3 o'clock in the morning? Guess what? She didn't answer because when Ambassador Stevens...
The question is that the discipline of a good leader?
600 times. Well, she said she was awake at 3 o'clock in the morning. And she also sent a tweet out at 3 o'clock in the morning, but I won't even mention that.
So, it was one thing only. Oh, you got a sex tape. Oh, that you called the Venezuelan, whoever it was, or Colombian. I don't really care. I mean, that's how much it doesn't matter to me. Whatever Donald Trump said 11 years ago or 15 years ago or whatever, Donald Trump was not an elected official in any capacity. He was a Joe Blow businessman freaking dealing with the ins and outs of trying to do business and that.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. As somebody who has run a business and as somebody who has worked at a lot of fields, done a lot of things in my life, I don't think it's uncommon for somebody who's really trying to accomplish something to be up at 3 o'clock in the morning. I've been up at 3 o'clock in the morning, to do things. And it was like the implication was you're just so obsessed with everything. You're up at 3 o'clock in the morning tweeting. And I thought Trump's response was, hey, social media's work. How many followers I've got? I think he said something like 25 million on Facebook.
I don't know. I haven't checked it long.
But that was his answer. Social media works. You may not like it, but it works. And so I'm using it.
A certain guy that's from, quote unquote, Hawaii elected twice.
Yeah. And look at Obama. You don't think Obama's doesn't have people sitting up at 3 o'clock in the morning sending out them stupid ass advertisements and letters asking for $1 and $3, and you can win lunch with the man, and you get your free T-shirt, and all the other crap that they're doing. I mean, somebody's sending that crap out in the morning because it's here every morning when I wake up. Anyway, we got to go to break. When we come back, we'll be with our buddy Bob Cardoso over at Robert Cardoso Live. Stay with us right here at the Conservative Syndicate. Don't go away.
Ever wonder how the credit card companies make their money? Well, think about this. If you owe $25,000 on 5 different credit cards and you make your minimum payments every month, here's what it's going to cost you. Are you sitting down? You'll shell out over $13,000 in additional interest, and it's going to take over 13 years to pay off your original $25,000 balance. That's how they make money. Now it's your turn to fight back by calling the Debt Solutions Network. We'll work on your behalf to reduce your debt. We specialize in credit cards, retail store cards, and medical bills. We promise we can and will reduce your debt. Call right now for a free 15-minute debt analysis. 800-709-4392. 800-709-4392. 800-709-4392. 800-709-4392.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
When I had a heart attack at 42, I was not sure what the future held. But a year later, the doctors could find nothing wrong with me and took me off all my medication. What did I do? I took a herbal mixture of garlic, cayenne, and a few other herbs mixed in liquid form. I now call this Extendovite. I would have never believed that a few simple herbs could actually change my life like they did. Now it's your turn to see what the powers of garlic and cayenne can do for you. For only $69.95 plus shipping and handling for a 2-month supply of either capsules or liquid, you too can begin on your path to better health. For more information, call 1-877-928-8822. That's 1-877-928-8822. Or visit our website at heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
I've owned my company for 14 years now, and I can tell you that payroll is a 4-letter word. I hate doing it. It eats up hours I don't have, and it costs me money I could be saving. But my accountant's too expensive, and I'm not sure who to call, but I know I need help.
We're Paychex, and we take all the hassles out of small business payroll. We save you time and money. It's easy. Call, fax, or give us your payroll information securely online, and we take care of the rest. We calculate the correct taxes, manage payments and direct deposits. We even send out your checks. Payroll doesn't need to be a 4-letter word anymore. We're so sure that we can save you time and money that we'll give you a month's payroll free. Just for calling 877-663-3830. Get 1 month's payroll for free. Call Paychex right now. 877-663-3830. That's 877-663-3830.
Hey, I don't back anybody unless I believe in them. And I do believe in the value of investing in gold and silver. And the company I trust to buy my gold and silver from is Swiss America. I've been working with them for nearly a decade. I trust them, and you can too. Swiss America will help you sort through and find the best options available when you're considering investing in gold and silver coins. Listen, for over 30 years, Swiss America has been offering Americans what they want in their investments: safety, liquidity, quality, reliability, and a potential profit. Gold and silver have a place in every investor's portfolio. So why not let Swiss America help you diversify your investment portfolio now? Call now for free information. 800-978-3907. 800-978-3907. 800-978-3907. 800-978-3907.
If you've got joint pain, let me ask you a question. Would you like a high-quality knee, back, shoulder, or ankle brace at little or no cost? But just in case your reception isn't great, let me ask you again. Would you like a pain-relieving knee, back, shoulder, or ankle brace at little or no cost? Well, if you have Medicare insurance, you could qualify for these pain-relieving braces at little or no cost. And these are high-quality braces. They are very comfortable, and they've helped thousands relieve their pain. Now, I'd like you to imagine going on vacation, playing with your grandkids, just living your life again without pain. The Mobility Hotline is a referral service that connects folks with Medicare coverage and other insurance to accredited companies offering pain-relieving braces at little or no cost. And don't you worry about the Medicare paperwork. They'll handle it all for you. And they'll deliver your braces for free. Call the Mobility Hotline now. The call's free. 1-800-557-6150. 1-800-557-6150. 1-800-557-6150.
Don't get your panties all in a bunch.
The Conservative Syndicate.net, exposing weapons of mass distraction. All right, hey, we're back, and you are listening to the Conservative Syndicate, Real Conservative Talk from Real Conservatives. I'm your host, John Matthews, along with Joe Hakos, and we're going to try to add our good buddy here, Bob Cardosa, to the call. Let's see if we get our system to work, and, of course, it doesn't want to work. Good God Almighty. Just, there we go. Let's see. No, there we go. There we go. Sometimes, I guess sometimes you got to press the mouse down on my mouse here. Maybe my mouse is wearing out. I don't know. I don't know. Wow. Well, I'm not even connecting to his normal system here. Wow. Okay.
Hello. Bob,
well, we may not get Bob. Bob, you there? No, his phone number's busy. Okay.
His phone number?
Oh, hung up. Hung up on Joe, too. Oh, man, I tell you, I am getting really, really frustrated with this Skype stuff, okay? I don't know what the deal is. Anyway, okay, let's hope that he calls in. If he calls in, maybe we can hook him up that way. We'll just move on here. Okay, let's see. Where were we at here before we...
Well, one thing I'd rather tell people, if you're not registered to vote, you better get out there and do it tomorrow. Or if you're in the Western time zone, do it now. Get out there and get registered. If you ain't ready to vote, you better get there now.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I agree. You know, one of the things I really wanted to point out here about the debate last night.
Yeah,
is okay. I'm trying to type and talk at the same time here. Okay, is the wording of the questions that were asked by the audience. Now, one of the things that they prefaced here before they started the debate, I believe it was Raditz that brought to our attention that the questions, or the people that were asked to ask the questions, the people that were chosen to ask the questions, were chosen by Gallup. Gallup went out there and actually found people to come in and ask the questions. So when I first heard that, I thought, my very first thought was, hey, that'll be good. Maybe we'll get some objective answers here, or some really hard biting questions, but it didn't happen. What it turned out to be was, I thought, some very skewed questions. I almost okay, Gallup may have chose these people, but maybe they gave them the questions. Okay, one of the things that Raditz said was that nobody's heard these questions. Nobody's heard these questions before this. I always doubt that these days. When they tell us beforehand. When they say, oh, well, nobody knows. Yeah, and it kind of makes me think, everybody knows. All right?
Exactly. I was like, okay, sure.
Yeah.
I was saying that as soon as they were saying it, I was like, yeah, okay, fine.
Yeah, well, anyway, but the questions here, I actually have them written down here. I tried to, how do I put this? I really tried to be somewhat objective, Okay?
So you're saying you're trying not to be so jaded?
Yeah. Because it's like I spend a lot of time here talking about how jaded everybody is, and it just. But you can't help but do it. Anyway, you got any comments on that, Joe?
Well, it's a fact. I mean, it's just the way it is. You cannot. The media is corrupt, straight up. You've watched a weekend where it was just absolutely mind-boggling. It was like a flipping circus, and it was just like, oh my goodness. And it's like, well, we don't want to give. I mean, I watched look. I didn't watch much as far as news went over the weekend. But I watched it a little bit, and every time I turned around, it was the same thing. This thing Trump said 11 years ago or 1,000 years ago, I don't know, whatever it was. But it's like, we don't want to give too much time. They would give all this time out, and then they would say, okay, now it's time to go ahead and ask how come Hillary Clinton doesn't like ice cream with nuts in it? That kind of thing. I was just like, really, we're really hard-hitting today, and we're being objective. And this is coming from... If these people are always talking about Fox News being this bastion of conservative thought, well, these people are out of their mind if that's what they actually think. I mean, because what the Fox is nothing more but a bunch of globalist progressives, glob progs, as I want to call them. That's all they are as well. And these people are running around right now going, "Oh, I can't stand this no more." It's just like. Donald Trump, I don't condone that. Well, I'm not condoning it either, but did Donald Trump ever go out there and have the words he said kill anybody? Did he ever have that at all? What was Donald Trump doing back then compared to what Hillary Clinton was doing or her husband? What her husband was committed to? Oh, my goodness. Okay. So what this was over the weekend was we have dirty words from Donald Trump and dirty deeds. Which is worse? Let me play a clip, and that'll kind of put this all back into the box, all right?
All right, great.
So let's do that. Here we go.
That was locker room talk. I'm not proud of it. I am a person who has great respect for people, for my family, for the people of this country, and certainly I'm not proud of it. But that was something that happened. If you look at Bill Clinton, far worse, minor words, and his was action. His was what he's done to women. There's never been anybody in the history of politics in this nation that's been so abusive to women. So you can say any way you want to say it, but Bill Clinton was abusive to women. Hillary Clinton attacked those same women and attacked them viciously. 4 of them here tonight. One of the women, who is a wonderful woman, at 12 years old, was raped at 12. Her client, she represented, got him off, and she's seen laughing on 2 separate occasions, laughing at the girl who was raped. Kathy Shelton, that young woman, is here with us tonight. So don't tell me about words. I apologize for those words. But it is things that people say. But what President Clinton did, he was impeached. He lost his license to practice law. He had to pay an $850,000 fine to one of the women, Paula Jones, who's also here tonight. And I will tell you that when Hillary brings up a point like that, and she talks about words that I said 11 years ago, I think it's disgraceful, and I think she should be ashamed of herself, if you want to know the truth.
So, exactly. So, dirty words or dirty deeds? And let's remember what Hillary did as part of that. She stood up a war room to defend her husband. She doesn't really. Did she really give a crap that she was defending her husband? No, she gave a crap about the power that they could possibly relinquish if he was torn down and the scandal-ridden that plagued the Clinton presidency. I mean, this guy did it on his own. Nobody forced him to bring an intern in and do what he did in the Oval Office. And then these other women sitting there. That was a very bold move on Trump's part. And it could have worked against him, but it worked out perfectly for him. And it proved that Bill and all these people, maybe he didn't say anything the first debate because Chelsea was in the room, but he didn't have to say a word about it tonight or last night because the people sitting there, right there in the VIP box, could look right across at him and go, "Hi, Bill. Remember us? Hi, Hillary. Remember us? We're the people you said you should not listen to these women. All the other women in the world that have an issue, you must listen to them. But these ones, because it was my husband, don't ever listen to them. They're they're tramps and thieves and stuff that what did the Carville say? If you drag a dollar bill around the trailer park, you don't know what you'll catch. That kind of stuff. That's the kind of people we're talking about. The Clintons and their friends. They're friends in CNN. They're friends at ABC, Stephanopoulos, Martha Raddatz, Anderson Cooper, all of them. It's corrupt as all get out. They're not hiding anymore. They're all part of the Hillary Clinton campaign.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought the way he handled it, I thought was pretty good. I thought the idea of bringing these women out in a pre-conference call or a press conference, I thought that in and of itself was kind of daring. I almost expected, well, maybe Bill won't show up, that kind of thing. But I don't know which. Just out of curiosity, which one of the women do you know got the $850,000 settlement? Was that Paula Jones?
Yeah, it was Paula Jones. Here's another thing. Did you hear Donald Trump say he apologized for the words?
I'm sorry?
Did you hear Donald in that clip? Did Donald Trump apologize for the words?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he could apologize, and everybody's still on his case. Hillary Clinton apologized for, putting our national security at risk, said the email server was a mistake. She apologizes for it. And everybody says, oh, okay, fine, Hillary, go away. No big deal here. He apologizes for some offhanded remarks that that definitely I would not want my son or having my daughter within earshot of any of this, or my wife or anything else. But really? But no one can accept his apology, though, huh?
Well, I thought the remark that Hillary Clinton had claimed that she apologized. Trump brought up the deplorable comment.
Oh yeah, that's been debunked. But yeah, we should probably get that out after a break.
Yeah, we got a break here. We'll be right back, folks, and we'll set that clip up here. I thought that was a very good exchange, and I have a comment I want to make on that too. So stay with us right here at the Conservative Syndicate. We'll be right back. There is an old saying, children should be seen but not heard. At no time is this more apparent than when politicians speak. TheConservativeSyndicate.net, the adults in the room. Hey folks, if you're like me, you don't place a whole lot of trust in today's media for the real truth and facts regarding the volatile world of finance and politics. When I want the real scoop on money, I go to the most trusted source I know, my good friend and colleague, Bob Cardoso. Bob is a noted expert with a PhD in international finance who airs his nationally known, globally syndicated show, Robert Cardoso Live Daily, Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific Time. With Bob, you get the right information at the right time from someone who knows his business and can help you make the right decisions concerning yours. Again, Bob airs daily, Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific Time. Visit his website at robertcardosolive.com for information regarding stations and topics. That's robertcardosolive.com. Check Bob out. You'll be glad you did. History affirms a vibrant civil society thrives on freedom of conscience, religion, and choice. Any society absent these qualities stifles individual responsibility and accountability, thus enslaving its people by denying them their potential for goodness, creativity, and altruism. To that extent, oppression, coercion, and totalitarianism are multiplied exponentially. To counter such outcomes, the American Freedom Alliance was formed. The AFA is a nonpartisan, non-aligned movement which promotes, defends, and upholds Western values and ideals. The Alliance strives to build an international coalition of citizens of the West who together promote and protect moral values, democracy, and freedom. To find out more and become part of this valuable asset in the preservation of freedom and all its rewards, contact us at AmericanFreedomAlliance.org. That's AmericanFreedomAlliance.org. Let freedom ring.
Get your panties all in a bunch.
TheConservativeSyndicate.net, exposing weapons of mass distraction. All right. Hey, we are back, and you are listening to the Conservative Syndicate, Real Conservative Talk from Real Conservatives. And I'm your host, John Matthews, along with Joe Hakos. And we'll get right back here to this one comment. You know, Hillary was really into the trying to spin this apology thing big time. Trump apologizes about his remarks. You know, they were unfit, but they were 11 years ago, and then went on to basically give a short list of women that Bill Clinton has been involved in, and even Hillary Clinton laughing about getting a rapist free. And I remember one of the comments she made in that conversation was the 12-year-old was actually fantasizing about being raped by grandfathers, that kind of stuff. But she tried to then turn it back on Trump and talking about how, well, you know, Trump never apologizes for anything. He just never apologizes for anything. And why should we take this this particular apology? Why should it have any substance? Because after all, he's called women fat. He's called them pigs. He wants to ban all Muslims because of their religion, not because of an ideology that's out there trying to destroy America. He never apologized to the Khan family for insulting them, and actually, that never really happened either. You know, it's just here's my point. I want to make my point, and I'm going to let Joe handle the comments, the apology thing. From Hillary Clinton regarding the deplorables. Here's the thing about this the entire pattern that I see coming down here. We talk about the Khan family. We talk about his taxes, and of course we're talking about comments that have been made in the past, or the groping. Somebody alleged that he was groping the woman by her genitals or something like that. Anyway, the point I'm making is the pattern these guys follow. Oh, the Russians hacking. Okay, these are all things that start out as ideas or thoughts. Well, the Russians could be hacking. Then it turns into innuendo. Well, Donald Trump likes Vladimir Putin, so therefore it must be the Russians trying to get Trump. It might be the Russians trying to help Trump. And then they start to spin on it. Well, if the Russians are hacking, well, then you can't count anything as being really true, because that might be an actual tactic. It might be misinformation. To last night or yesterday, or was it Friday, the White House comes out and states unequivocally that the Russians are hacking, but they have no evidence, no proof. And so what does Hillary Clinton say? And this is the comeback that I was waiting for last night, never saw. Well, the intelligence agencies are telling us that the Russians are the ones behind the hacking of the DNC emails and everything else, right? So I'm thinking, are we talking about the same intelligence agencies that couldn't find obstruction of justice with everything sitting there right in front of them? Are we supposed to now take their credibility and they're telling us, the Russians? And what evidence do you have to prove this? It's the same thing with all these other things. It's like, what evidence do you have with Donald Trump? He never insulted the Khan family. What he said was, why is a woman standing up there doesn't say anything? I guess she's not allowed to say anything. How's that an insult? You know, and so that's the pattern I want to bring up here. The pattern is, start out, you float it out there. You either leak it someplace, or you kind of throw it out there as a half thought. There's not a whole lot of kickback on it. Oh, well, now let's go to innuendo. And from innuendo, it becomes fact.
Yeah.
And nobody ever has proof, but the American electorate out there, with their 30-second soundbite mentality, picks up the headline, and there it is. It becomes news, and it becomes condemning, and nobody ever bothers to ask, where did this actually come from? Because by that time, it's already accomplished the purpose for which it was created. And that is to dissuade, that is to misinform, because the average American, I saw something last week about the average American gets most of their news through social media. Most of their news through social media. Now, what does that mean? Well, I know from my own experience on Facebook, what it means is you put a link out there about some news article that says something, people read the headline and respond.
Yeah.
They don't read the article. I can't tell you how many times conservatives that I know, I'll put an article out there, hey, you ought to read this. It really points to the truth. This really points something out. And they'll come back and they'll comment on the headline. Did you read the article?
No, they never do.
They never read the article. So the left knows this, and that's why the game is so effective. Anyway, Joe, well, let's get to this. Did you have the clip?
No, I don't have that clip. I just have basically I have her response that she actually said. Now, if we remember, Hillary said that she claimed that she apologized for calling
go for it.
For Donald Trump's supporters a basket of deplorables, right?
Right.
So she claimed that she did that. She says, "I apologize for that." Well, let me read you her actual statement. Let me see if this actually sounds like an apology. And this is from September 10th. All right, last month when she said this the night before. All right, last night I was grossly generalistic, and that's never a good idea. I regret saying half that was wrong. But let's be clear. What's really deplorable is that Donald Trump hired a major advocate for his so-called alt-right movement to run his campaign, and that David Duke and other white supremacists see him as a champion of their valuables. A little conjecture there, right? Okay. It's deplorable that Trump has built his campaign largely on prejudice and paranoia and given a national platform to hateful views and voices, including by retweeting fringe bigots with a few dozen followers and spreading their message to 11 million people. It's deplorable that he's attacked a federal judge for his Mexican heritage, bullied a Gold Star family because of their Muslim faith, and promoted a lie that our first black president is not a true American. I won't stop calling out bigotry and racist rhetoric in this campaign. I also meant what I said last night about empathy and the real challenges we face as a country, where so many people have been left out and left behind. As I said, many of Trump's supporters are hard-working Americans who just don't feel like the economy or our political system are working for them. I'm determined to bring our country together and make our economy work for everyone, not just those at the top, because we really are stronger together.
All right, now that...
Did you hear the words, "I'm sorry" in there at all?
No, and one thing you'll note, if you really paid attention last night, this entire statement, she broke down into specific segments to respond to other things that were being brought up. She just regurgitated this thing. So obviously the woman just memorizes stuff, and then she gets maybe one of the things, that wire running up her back that they pointed out in the last debate, maybe it's a little buzz button that punches her in the head and say, hey, say this. Because every one of these things that you just read, she recited almost word for word last night throughout the debate at different moments.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, as I'm reading it, I was going, I heard this last night too. It's funny as crap, but it's funny that it's not funny, haha. It's just funny that the media, the Martha Raditzes and Anderson Coopers of the world won't go, hey, we heard that last month, Hillary. Are you serious? Are you saying you apologize? And they never call her on the carpet for it.
Right, exactly. Exactly.
It's the wrong way. They're like all over them. And once again, I love the instant world. They usually fall on crap. And again, the fly was on crap again last night when it landed on Hillary.
All right. Okay. Hey, look, we're at the top of the hour here. Time for the Edwards Notebook. Pay some bills. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
Stripping money from the U.S. military budget to pour into government school systems is simply exacerbating two major problems. Hello, I'm Ron Edwards. On today's page from the Edwards Notebook, government schools in America have for years received enough money to ensure that more money is spent per student throughout the Republic than almost any other nation on earth. Yet, overall, America ranks 30th in the world in education quality, proving that spending the most money does not ensure the highest quality. Especially since the actual goal of American government school educators is to indoctrinate American students into being glorified, socially conscious globalists. who are more in league with the United Nations, open borders, and climate change dogma than reading, writing, arithmetic, and true American history. In addition, the stripping away of needed funding from what has been the best military in the world has produced massive shortages in needed supplies at every level. Thus, the military is now at best heavily strained in the effort to protect America and maintain stability throughout the world. Hopefully, this scenario of double trouble is soon corrected through a return to providential guidance and an appreciation for America the Beautiful. I'm Ron Edwards.
A healthy attitude toward politics will always be relentlessly cynical. The Conservative Syndicate.net, doing our part to keep America healthy.
Prices are for base buildings only. May not be available in some areas. Attention business owners, do you want a stimulus package that really works? Before you spend thousands of dollars more than you should on your next building project, listen to this. General Steel has a stimulus package designed to help you save as much as half the cost of conventional construction on your next building. As much as half. That's right, General Steel can save you thousands of dollars with a pre-engineered steel building designed for your business or church. How about a 50 by 100 foot building for under $30,000? So don't pay thousands more than you should without calling General Steel first and save as much as half the cost and time of conventional construction. With the projected demand for steel in Japan and China, prices may be skyrocketing.
877-927-3360. 877-927-3360. 877-927-3360. Term life insurance. It can be a powerful way to protect your assets and your family. You work hard to earn and save your money to build a nest egg for the future. Don't let it get wiped out because you didn't plan ahead. Take the time now and make a small investment in $500,000 or more in quality term life insurance. Call the Term Lifeline and let us shop the best companies to give you the lowest rates. We specialize in policies of $500,000 and above. Ask about some of our 10 and 20-year fixed rate plans with guaranteed rates. Call the Term Lifeline right now for your free insurance quote. 800-870-3609. 800-870-3609. You owe it to yourself to protect your family and your assets. Make term life insurance part of that plan. Call the Term Lifeline right now. 800-870-3609. 800-870-3609.
Hey folks, if you're like me, you don't place a whole lot of trust in today's media for the real truth and facts regarding the volatile world of finance and politics. When I want the real scoop on money, I go to the most trusted source I know, my good friend and colleague, Bob Cardoso. Bob is a noted expert with a PhD in international finance who airs his nationally known, globally syndicated show, Robert Cardoso Live Daily, Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific Time. With Bob, you get the right information at the right time from someone who knows his business and can help you make the right decisions concerning yours. Again, Bob airs daily, Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific Time. Visit his website at robertcardosolive.com for information regarding stations and topics. That's robertcardosolive.com. Check Bob out. You'll be glad you did.
Read something recently worth thinking about. It's the soldier, not the campus organizer, who's given us freedom to demonstrate. It's the soldier, not the reporter, who's given us freedom of the press. It's the soldier, not the poet, who's given us freedom of speech. It's the soldier who serves under the flag, who defends the protesters' right to burn the flag. Isn't it time now to demonstrate that we support our troops? Were it not for the brave, there'd be no land of the free.
Fred Thompson's message was brought to you by citizensunited.org.
Hey, all you can do is just tell the truth and trust in the American people that over time they're going to know what the truth is.
Yes, it is time for the truth. Right here, right now. This is the Conservative Syndicate. Real conservative talk from real conservatives. With your host, John Matthews.
The latter-day prophet. Baying against the hypocrisies of our time.
And Joe Hakos.
You want answers. I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
The Conservative Syndicate is comprised of some of the most informed pundits and activists available today. Together, we seek to tear down the imaginary wall, a separation between church and state through education, information, and engagement on the religion of politics and the politics of religion. And now, your host on the globally syndicated Conservative Syndicate, John Matthews and Joe Hakos.
All right, hey, we're back, and this is hour two right here at the Conservative Syndicate, real conservative talk from real conservatives. I'm your host, John Matthews, along with Joe Hakos, and just a quick closing thought here on what we were talking about the last hour. Hillary Clinton's non-apology that she tried to trot out last night, that she did apologize, and I that kind of stuff, I really thought that should be, or it should be, I think it should be classified as her Mitt Romney moment, but of course, that had a much more devastating effect on Mitt Romney than it did Hillary Clinton, and there's a reason why. It's because the media played that thing till, hell wouldn't have it, kind of thing. They just played it over and over again. But a couple of things I just want to point out real quick here. The idea that she keeps trying to tie Donald Trump to David Duke. Yeah, that is so worn out. The idea, so there. Let's say the white supremacists out there do believe that Donald Trump represents something that they believe in, and that is closed borders. Okay, let's say that's the case. The fact of the matter is that, so what? Does that mean that anybody supporting total government takeover of everything? Does that mean Bernie Sanders? Couldn't we play this back the other way? Bernie Sanders, an admitted Democratic socialist? Couldn't we say, hey, Hillary, we can tie you to Bernie Sanders? It's the same kind of thing. He's representing. Bernie Sanders represents the other side of the coin. Let's just all be one socialist collective.
Well, that's what Hillary Clinton wants. I mean, the emails that came out from WikiLeaks say exactly that. Yeah. Clinton said her dream is a hemispheric common market with open trade and open markets. My dream is a hemispheric common market with open trade and open borders sometime in the future with energy that is as green and sustainable as we can get it, powering growth and opportunity for every person in the hemisphere. Those remarks were made in 2013, May 16, 2013.
Yeah, and she what she did was she floated out again this thought about the Mexican judge. She floated out again last night. It's in her statement here. It's deplorable that he attacked a federal judge for his Mexican heritage. He didn't. See, here's the thing. He never attacked the judge for his Mexican heritage. He attacked the judge because of his Mexican ideology. Okay? He thought that this guy, he's a leftist. He's a liberal. And just happens to be Mexican. The same way you talk about Barack Obama. I don't attack Barack Obama because he's black or half white, whichever way you want to refer to him. I attack him because he is a leftist Marxist who happens to be half white, half black. Okay, and that I have never, and I've never heard anybody else that is truly a conservative attack anybody because of the color of their skin, with race, or even their religion for that matter. If that was the case, Mitt Romney should have been crucified by now. Okay, so the idea of bullying a Gold Star family, he didn't bully anybody. He made a statement, asked a question. Oh, gee, I guess the woman's not allowed to say anything. She just stood up there and said nothing. Okay? Yeah. Okay, how does that attack her faith? So it's that pattern I was just talking about. You take something that you see, or you take something that you hear, and you see, how can I twist this to my advantage? And if it's taken out of context, so be it.
well,
as long
as it fits our narrative and the ends justify the means.
Right.
Yes, Harry Reid, we understand. Romney didn't pay taxes. It doesn't really matter if it's true or not. We'll just say it, and then people will say, he doesn't pay taxes. And it's justify the means, and Harry said it as much. Hey, remember this one? Remember Hillary Clinton said that she does not believe in the Trans-Pacific Partnership? Here, let me read something for you. Hillary Clinton places TPP. The greater connections in our own hemisphere hold such promise. The United States and Canada are working together with a group of open market democracies along the Pacific Rim, Mexico, Colombia, Peru, and Chile to expand responsible trade and economic cooperation. And that's a speech she gave in Canada. The Canada 2020 speech she did on October 6, 2014. Yeah, it sounds like she was all for the TPP there.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, so how many? Does she tell the truth, or does she just depends on who she's talking to?
Well, that's the point. We got to go to break right now, but when we come back, that's what I want to hit next, Joe. Let's put that down on our checklist here. The two sides of Hillary Clinton, her admitting to the Goldman Sachs crowd that she has a public and a private policy position, and why? She goes and she says something along the line of, well, because we need money to run campaigns, and you guys are the ones that give us that money. She admitted that. We'll talk about that when we get back. Stay with us right here at the Conservative Syndicate. Don't go away. A healthy attitude toward politics will always be relentlessly cynical. TheConservativeSyndicate.net, doing our part to keep America healthy.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. Then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-790-5960. That's 1-800-790-5960. Again, 1-800-790-5960. Call now.
Limited time offer, 24-month commitment and credit qualification required. Cancellation fee, auto pay, and paperless billing and other restrictions apply. If you can't see the difference, why pay the difference? Switch to Dish for the best deal in entertainment. Only Dish brings you the best in entertainment for less than $20 a month. Cut the cable and don't get directed. Switch to Dish because at just $19.99, Dish saves you every time you turn on the TV. It's so simple. The same channels cost less with Dish. So since you can't see the difference, don't pay the difference. Switch to Dish for the best deal in entertainment. Get premium movie channels free for 3 months, starting at just $19.99. Dish saves you every time you turn on the TV. Call now to save with Dish. Dial 1-800-600-1645. That's 1-800-600-1645. The same channels for less than $20 a month. Dish. Call 1-800-600-1645 for details.
Hey folks, if you're like me, you don't place a whole lot of trust in today's media for the real truth and facts regarding the volatile world of finance and politics. When I want the real scoop on money, I go to the most trusted source I know, my good friend and colleague, Bob Cardoso. Bob is a noted expert with a PhD in international finance who airs his nationally known, globally syndicated show, Robert Cardoso Live Daily, Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific Time. With Bob, you get the right information at the right time from someone who knows his business and can help you make the right decisions concerning yours. Again, Bob airs daily, Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific Time. Visit his website at robertcardosolive.com for information regarding stations and topics. That's robertcardosolive.com. Check Bob out. You'll be glad you did.
Attention taxpayers. If you've received a notice from the IRS or state, do not ignore it. It's also a big mistake to try and handle your tax problem on your own. If you owe back taxes, it's a fact that the government has the power to take everything you own, including your home, business, wages, savings, and your freedom. But here's the good news. There's a special toll-free tax hotline set up especially for you. This tax hotline will tell you about new programs that are geared to help you dramatically settle, reduce, or eliminate what you owe. But you have to call now. Take down this number or put it in your cell phone. But call 866-761-0959. 1-866-761-0959. When you call, you get free information on how you can reduce or eliminate back taxes, including penalties and interest. You can also be helped if you have unfiled returns, a tax lien, wage garnishment, bank levy, or if you have been entered into a payment plan but can't make the payments. Don't make the big mistake in thinking you can ignore or handle your tax problem on your own. You can stop the collection process immediately. Call this special tax hotline today for free info at 1-866-761-0959. That's 1-866-761-0959. 1-866-761-0959.
Get your panties all in a bunch.
The Conservative Syndicate.net. Exposing weapons of mass distraction. All right, hey, we're back, and you're listening to the Conservative Syndicate, real conservative talk from real conservatives. I'm your host, Joe Matthews, along with Joe Hakos. And getting back to the debate last night, there's a couple things here that just the WikiLeaks thing. The public has not had a whole lot of time to digest this. The latest batch that's come out here. I don't know what Julian Assange thought about, what his strategy was. I wish he would have released this stuff a couple of days ago. Would have given everybody a little bit more time, at least those who care, a little more time to go through this stuff and decipher it and discern it. But one of the things that's really making the most airways, or getting the most airtime right now, is Hillary's apparent public and private positions that she holds, meaning that when she's talking to bankers at $250,000 to $600,000 a clip, she has a different view on politics and the economy and things of that nature than when she is talking to the American public. Boy, where do we hear that from? It's ongoing, and I know what I was thinking. It sounds like the Republican Party. Okay, just a little bit different. We want limited government. We want to stop Obamacare. We want to and send us your money. And then when they get elected, and then lo and behold, nothing happens after that. And just Hillary's out there just using the same tactic, the same strategy. That's why I don't think, Joe, what do you think? I don't think we've had a more establishment candidate than Hillary Clinton, with maybe the exception of Mitt Romney.
Romney was definitely the establishment. Or what they would have loved to have was Jeb Bush.
Oh, yeah. There's another one. Yeah, Jeb Bush and Hillary Clinton. I really think they should have. Jeb, when he got bounced out, he should have just changed his party affiliation and come over to Hillary and say, hey, come on, let's team up. We can do this. Because they really. In fact, one of the things that came out in this WikiLeaks thing, believe it or not here, is the idea or a mention that was made by one of her campaign people that actually they were worried about Jeb Bush's economic message because I think it's a way they put it is everything that Bush is saying, Hillary Clinton believes. And I'm scrolling through my notes here to try. Here it is, the speech, okay? Clinton's advisors saw Jeb Bush's economic message as a threat. Back in February 2015, when former Florida Governor Jeb Bush was raising millions of dollars for a future juggernaut presidential campaign, and he appeared in early polls to be the Republican frontrunner, Clinton's aides examined the language of his early economic pitch. The speech, which called for less regulation and the right to rise, made her aides nervous. He's in a fertile zone, GOP primary electorate notwithstanding. For those of you who've had to put up with the interest exploring opportunity framing, he has some elements here, said Jim Margulis, an advisor. It's a scary new wrapping paper for trickle down. Now, I want you to remember that phrase just for a moment here, okay? Scary new wrapping paper for trickle down. And what Hillary now is touting as what? Trumped down. Trump down economics because she claims that he's trying to, what? He's trying to duplicate Ronald Reagan, and we all know that trickle-down economics never works. All right? So, very much in sync. That's what McGarlis goes on to say. Very much in sync with what we're hearing in groups, said a pollster for the Clinton campaign, Jeff Litz. Very little in this speech that HRC wouldn't say, added advisor Mandy Grunwald. So Hillary Clinton basically, her people looked at Jeb Bush's campaign and said, this is scary because he's coming into what they refer to as a fertile zone. He's got a message that's going to resonate with people. Resonate, but they thought it would. And the idea that they're saying it's a scary new wrapping for trickle down, a direct reference to Ronald Reagan's trickle down economics, and then goes on to say, but there's very little in his speech that HRC wouldn't say herself.
Yeah.
Wow. There's a revelation for you. Establishments up the yang. All right.
Yeah. Hey, let's talk a little more about these leaked emails from WikiLeaks and why Hillary Clinton doesn't want to talk about them. Why she didn't want them to be found out. Because there is plenty of stuff to go around here. She's been talking to that public-private thing.
I'm sorry.
Do you remember the public persona and the private persona? Look, the Lincoln moment last night, as I called it.
Yeah.
Let's listen to that one.
Okay.
As I recall, that was something I said about Abraham Lincoln after having seen the wonderful Steven Spielberg movie called Lincoln. It was a master class watching President Lincoln get the Congress to approve the 13th Amendment. It was principled and it was strategic. And I was making the point that it is hard sometimes to get the Congress to do what you want to do, and you have to keep working at it. And yes, President Lincoln was trying to convince some people. He used some arguments. Convincing other people, he used other arguments. That was a great, I thought, a great display of presidential leadership.
She lied. Now she's blaming the lie on the late, great Abraham Lincoln. That's one that I haven't. Okay, Honest Abe. Honest Abe never lied. That's the good thing. That's the big difference between Abraham Lincoln and you. That's a big, big difference. We're talking about some difference.
Yeah, it is a big difference. Hillary Clinton, Abraham Lincoln, and she's using Lincoln. And how Lincoln did politics, because Lincoln had to do politics with Stewart back in the day. But yeah, it's not that you not lie. It's just, you play the horse trading game. It's not lying. There's a big difference here. And how's Hillary Clinton doing this? Let's see. Why did Hillary Clinton not want some of this stuff to come out? Well, Hillary didn't want to have this the pay for play thing come out because, and here's one of the things about corporate taxes, and we can talk about the corporate tax thing that they were talking about. In fielding questions about U.S. corporate tax reform, Clinton mentioned her frequent meetings with corporate executives and groups all across the private sector. Hillary Clinton, this time around, a number of business leaders have been talking to my husband and me about an idea that would allow the repatriation of a couple $1 trillion that are out there. And you would get a lower rate, a really low rate, if you were willing to invest a percentage in an infrastructure bank. Because it's so interesting to me. I've met with lots of corporate executives. I talked to groups all across the private sector, and they all complain about our infrastructure, complain about our bad rail system, particularly our increased burden that the rails are carried because of oil and gas tankers. They complain about our airports. They complain about our ports. They complain about our roads. This is Hillary Clinton talking at the Council of Insurance Agents and Brokers, October 13, 2014. Now, have we heard Hillary Clinton talking about an infrastructure bank? No, she leaves that little part out. This little tank of money that these people are going to go ahead and put money into. Oh, and get how did she put it? You're going to get a lower rate, a really low rate.
I almost sounds to me like insider trading.
Yes, doesn't it though?
Yeah, and didn't they put Martha Stewart up for some time over that?
Yeah, well, Martha lied to the FBI once.
All right, now, but let me make one comment here. Let me just backtrack, just rewind just a bit here. Her comment about Lincoln, okay?
Yes, Lincoln.
She used the phrase principled and strategic. I don't know what the second word was, but she used the word principled. That what Abraham Lincoln did was principled because he couldn't get Congress to do what he wanted to do. And I saw the movie Lincoln also.
Uh-huh.
And I remember the scene that she's talking about.
Okay.
And his entire cabinet called him on it when he said, this is what I'm going to do. What he basically was going to do, he went to Congress and lied that there was no negotiations going on with Robert E. Lee.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, there had been negotiations going on behind the scene, and the half of the Congress didn't want to go. They didn't want to do anything because they were saying, well, I think we're on the verge of peace anyways, and the other half are saying, no, let's go in and wipe everybody out. And so Lincoln is trying to bring these two people together so that he can bring an end to the war.
Yeah,
I remember the scene avidly. And because when I watch these movies, I look at them through historical perspective, not entertainment. And so I'm sitting there watching this. And his entire, including his Secretary of Defense and all the other cabinet members that were in there, he said, I'm going to lie. I'm going to go in there.
Stewart, that's who she brings up. Here, I got the clip. I got the expert right here in front of me. And this is Hillary Clinton. You just have to sort of figure out how to get into back to that word, balance, quote unquote.
Okay, play that because I really want to reiterate something about this. Go ahead and play the clip.
All right. Well, I got to read it to you since I don't have that because these are out of the emails.
Oh, okay. Okay. I'm sorry.
All right. This is out of the emails. So going back to that word, quote unquote, balance. How to balance the public and private efforts that are necessary to be successful politically. And that's not just a comment about today. That, I think, has been probably true all of our history. And if you saw the Spielberg movie, Lincoln, and how he was maneuvering and working to get the 13th Amendment passed, and he called for one of my favorite predecessors, Secretary Stewart, who had been the governor and senator from New York, ran against Lincoln for president, and he told Stewart, I need your help to get this done. And Stewart called some of his lobbyist friends who knew how to make a deal, and they just kept it going at it. I mean, politics is like sausage being made. It's unsavory, and it's always been that way. And we usually end up where we need to be. But if everybody's watching, all the backroom discussions and the deals, when then people get a little nervous, to say the least. So you need both a public and private position. And finally, I believe in evidence-based decision-making. I want to know what the facts are. I mean, it's like when you guys go into some kind of deal, are you going to do that development or not? Are you going to do that renovation or not? You look at the numbers. You try to figure out what's going to work and what's not going to work. That's Hillary in 2013.
Right. Now.
In public. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, Stewart was the Secretary of War for him. And also, the reason why he was the Secretary of War is because that was the deal to get Lincoln in nomination after a billion rounds in their convention. He needed Stewart's blessing, basically. He needed Stewart's support to get the nomination, and as part of the deal, he made him Secretary of War.
Yeah. And this same Secretary of War is one of the people that looked Lincoln in the face when he said he was basically going to lie. He just came out and said, I'm going to lie, and looked at him and said something along the lines, I don't remember the exact line, but he was saying is, what you're doing here is breaking the law. And Lincoln just looked at him and said, yes, and I'm going to do it anyway.
Yeah.
Okay.
So talking about lies, we're coming up on we're going to go to a break here shortly, but Hillary's talking about lies. This public and private persona. Yeah, Hillary, you're always out there trying to say you're a champion of the middle class, the little people, and everybody else. But then you go and what are you doing? You're having all these discussions, and they're talking to you and Bill. Why would they be talking to Bill Clinton about anything?
Yeah, exactly. So the idea, the translation here, when you heard Hillary Clinton use the word principled, Lincoln was principled, What she's saying was basically reciting or regurgitating the liberal mantra, which is the end justifies the means. When you can't get Congress to do something, you figure out a way to do it without them, or you lie to them to get them to do something. You say, yeah, I'll do this, and we've seen that for the last 7.5 years. Or so Barack Obama comes out and says, yeah, I'm open for anything. I'm willing to talk to anybody. Yeah, we need to come to a solution. And then he doesn't get the solution he wants. And what's he do? Oh, I'll just issue an executive order. Sue me.
Exactly. He'll just do that. So I guess it's principle to go behind people's backs, go to these corporations and say, look, if you want to bring back some of your money from offshore, we'll give you a great rate. Just when I'm president, I'm going to hook you up and take care of you. You just need to put some of this into an infrastructure bank so we can use this as a slush fund for whatever we deem necessary. Yeah. That sounds like a great deal. It sounds like something that Congress should be involved in.
Yeah.
Maybe?
Yeah. Hey, we got to go to a break. When we come back, Joe shared with me before we started the show today an actual email that was pulled off of WikiLeaks. And you still got your hands on that, Joe?
I got my hands on. You just tell me what it's about again, because I'm getting confused now. There's so much stuff out there. Just tell me what it is. I'll find it.
Okay, well, maybe we won't do that, because I just remember that you shared it with me before we got on the air, and I thought, oh, wow, this would be a great thing to talk about. Anyway, we got to go to a break. When we come back, we'll continue our discussion here at the Conservative Syndicate. Don't go away.
Ever wonder how the credit card companies make their money? Well, think about this. If you owe $25,000 on 5 different credit cards and you make your minimum payments every month, here's what it's going to cost you. Are you sitting down? You'll shell out over $13,000 in additional interest, and it's going to take over 13 years to pay off your original $25,000 balance. That's how they make money. Now it's your turn to fight back by calling the Debt Solutions Network. We'll work on your behalf to reduce your debt. We specialize in credit cards, retail store cards, and medical bills. We promise we can and will reduce your debt. Call right now for a free 15-minute debt analysis. 800-709-4392. 800-709-4392. 800-709-4392. 800-709-4392.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
When I had a heart attack at 42, I was not sure what the future held. But a year later, the doctors could find nothing wrong with me and took me off all my medication. What did I do? I took a herbal mixture of garlic, cayenne, and a few other herbs mixed in liquid form. I now call this Extendovite. I would have never believed that a few simple herbs could actually change my life like they did. Now it's your turn to see what the powers of garlic and cayenne can do for you. For only $69.95 plus shipping and handling for a 2-month supply of either capsules or liquid, you too can begin on your path to better health. For more information, call 1-877-928-8822. That's 1-877-928-8822. Or visit our website at heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
I've owned my company for 14 years now, and I can tell you that payroll is a 4-letter word. I hate doing it. It eats up hours I don't have, and it costs me money I could be saving. But my accountant's too expensive, and I'm not sure who to call, but I know I need help.
We're Paychex, and we take all the hassles out of small business payroll. We save you time and money. It's easy. Call, fax, or give us your payroll information securely online, and we take care of the rest. We calculate the correct taxes, manage payments and direct deposits. We even send out your checks. Payroll doesn't need to be a 4-letter word anymore. We're so sure that we can save you time and money that we'll give you a month's payroll free. Just for calling 877-663-3830. Get 1 month's payroll for free. Call Paychex right now. 877-663-3830. That's 877-663-3830.
Hey, I don't back anybody unless I believe in them. And I do believe in the value of investing in gold and silver. And the company I trust to buy my gold and silver from is Swiss America. I've been working with them for nearly a decade. I trust them, and you can too. Swiss America will help you sort through and find the best options available when you're considering investing in gold and silver coins. Listen, for over 30 years, Swiss America has been offering Americans what they want in their investments: safety, liquidity, quality, reliability, and a potential profit. Gold and silver have a place in every investor's portfolio. So, why not let Swiss America help you diversify your investment portfolio now? Call now for free information. 800-978-3907, 800-978-3907, 800-978-3907, 800-978-3907.
If you've got joint pain, let me ask you a question. Would you like a high-quality knee, back, shoulder, or ankle brace at little or no cost? But just in case your reception isn't great, let me ask you again. Would you like a pain-relieving knee, back, shoulder, or ankle brace at little or no cost? Well, if you have Medicare insurance, you could qualify for these pain-relieving braces at little or no cost. And these are high-quality braces. They are very comfortable, and they've helped thousands relieve their pain. Now, I'd like you to imagine going on vacation, playing with your grandkids, just living your life again without pain. The Mobility Hotline is a referral service that connects folks with Medicare coverage and other insurance to accredited companies offering pain-relieving braces at little or no cost. And don't you worry about the Medicare paperwork. They'll handle it all for you. And they'll deliver your braces for free. Call the Mobility Hotline now. The call's free. 1-800-557-6150. 1-800-557-6150. 1-800-557-6150.
Don't get your panties all in a bunch.
The Conservative Syndicate.net, exposing weapons of mass distraction. All right, hey, we're back, and you are listening to the Conservative Syndicate, real conservative talk from real conservatives. I am your host, John Matthews, along with Joe Hakos. I want to just close up the comments that Clinton made on the debate last night about the WikiLeaks. She didn't make any comments other than deny.
And she never denied them or said anything else. She didn't say that they were false or anything. She just kind of just ignored it.
Yeah, and basically just told everybody to go to our website where all those fact checkers are busy at work, making sure that everything that she says is deemed as truth and everything that Trump says was deemed a lie. Now, there's several things that in these WikiLeaks that I want to share. I'm just going to go through them real quick here because we have two other items that we want to talk about before today is over. And the first one is, Joe's already covered the first one, actually, when she talked about when people get nervous, and everybody's watching you. If everybody's watching, all of the backroom discussions and the deals, backroom discussions and deals, okay, then people get a little nervous, to say the least. So you need both a public and a private position. And this is back in 2013. You just have to figure out how to get back to that balance, as the word she uses. Abraham Lincoln was principled. She's balanced. Okay, I think she even made some reference to Teddy Roosevelt, his ability to balance things, which political jargon means play both ends against the middle. Well, now, she also made a comment in one of the leaked emails that I think is very relevant, that Donald Trump talked about last night to some degree, and that is the idea of playing this public and private persona for the purpose of raising money. All right. Now, she says here, this is out of one of her speech transcripts, running for office in our country takes a lot of money, and candidates have to go out and raise it. New York is probably the leading site for contribution for fundraising for candidates on both sides of the aisle. And it's also our economic center. And there are a lot of people here who should ask some tough questions before handing over campaign contributions to people who were really playing chicken with our whole economy. I would think you would be talking about your president, Barack Obama, when we talk about playing chicken with our economy.
Who's she talking to, John?
Well, she's talking to the, let's see, who's this from? This was Wall Street.
Goldman Sachs Alternative Investment Symposium, October 24th, 2013.
Okay. I didn't list here in my reference point here.
Now, put it up the emails.
Here's the one that I really stuck out to me, okay? She claimed in one of the speeches that it's an oversimplification to say that the banking sector was responsible for the 2008 financial meltdown. Remember, the greatest recession since the Great Depression that Barack Obama has so miraculously and so well pulled us out of, even though the American people don't see it and don't feel it. She said that earlier in one of the other comments. Yeah, they're not feeling it, basically, but Obama did it. And I want to go on with this. She said in another speech, she suggested that Wall Street was unfairly blamed for the 2008 economic collapse. That was one of the reasons that I started traveling in February of 2009 so people could, literally yell at me for the United States and our banking system causing this everywhere. Now, that's an oversimplification, we know, but it was the conventional wisdom. And I think that there's a lot that could have been avoided in terms of both misunderstanding and really politicizing what happened. Well, let's politicize this a little bit. The greatest recession since the Great Depression was brought on about by one thing and one thing only. There was a run on the banks when people began to realize that the subprime lending thing that was going on, that was orchestrated and escalated by none other than her husband, Bill Clinton, and Barney Frank and Chris Dodd, taking the Reinvestment and Redevelopment Act of James Carter and putting it on steroids and telling the banks pretty much Freddie Mac will cover any losses.
Yeah.
Okay, that is what started this spiral, this death spiral. And what happened was, in 2007, the left needed a crisis. John McCain, you guys got to remember this. John McCain was leading in the polls just before the recession hit. He wasn't leading by much, but he was leading. He had the same margin, I think, as Hillary Clinton had on Trump as of yesterday. All right, 6-7 points, something like that. McCain was leading in the polls. They needed a bombshell. They didn't have a Miss Universe turned porn star. They didn't have the comments about. They didn't have John McCain making lewd comments to some girl on a show or anything like that. So what did they have to do? They had to create a crisis, and I believe it was I forget who it was that said it, but it was one of the Democrat senators. I know he's from Illinois. I just can't think of his name right off the top of my head. Had come out in the press somewhere and made a statement, something to the effect that the banks, they were fearing that there was going to be a run on the banks. And the reason was because everybody was beginning to see, this thing is about to explode. It's time to pull our money out. And that's what set the whole thing into motion. So this whole idea, it is an oversimplification to say that it was just the banks. We should be pointing the finger where it really lies, at Freddie Mac and Bill Clinton.
So do you think Hillary Clinton learned anything from that? I don't think she has, John, because here's Hillary Clinton in 2013, November 14, 2013. So now there's all these policy debates about what to do to avoid ever happening what happened back in 07 and 08, which I think is absolutely fair and necessary. But I really don't want to see decisions made that constrict the opportunities for people to own either commercial or residential real estate.
Exactly.
So she hasn't learned a darn thing.
Yeah, that was, they took the Redevelopment Act, the Reinvestment and Redevelopment Act that Jimmy Carter put in place when he was in president. And at that time, you remember when Reagan came in office, Reagan wanted to privatize Freddie Mac. And the Congress came against him over it, okay? Tip O'Neill, I think at that time it was a Democratic majority in Congress. Tip O'Neill was the head of the House. And somewhere along the line, Reagan let it drop. But Reagan knew something was going on, and he was going to privatize Freddie Mac. It didn't happen, okay? And then Clinton comes along and puts this thing on steroids and basically says his good friend, Jimmy Johnson, was running Freddie Mac, who, by the way, made $160 million in that time frame that this whole thing went down, from the time Clinton got out of office, and I think he was still in office the first couple of terms of George W. Bush, and walked away with about $160 million in money. Bill Clinton made over $100 million. These are verified, documented facts that nobody talks about. But it was Bill Clinton, and then it was the Dick Durbin. That's it. Dick Durbin was the senator that came out and said, "Oh, we're kind of," and this was right. Like I said, this was the October surprise back in 2007. And it was the economy is going to collapse because people are going to start making a run on the banks. People made runs on the banks. The banks closed up. The lending, it all fell to hell. And it all went to hell in a handbasket in a matter of a couple of weeks. John McCain stood up there and said, the economy is strong, and lost. Okay? That's how it all went down. So when Hillary Clinton says it was oversimplified, she's absolutely right. What she doesn't point to is the cause and effect.
Yeah, exactly, the actual reasoning behind it.
Right. So we got to go to a quick break. When we come back, we've got Joe's got two segments here that we want to take care of. So stay with us right here at the Conservative Syndicate. Don't go away.
There is an old saying, children should be seen but not heard. At no time is this more apparent than when politicians speak. TheConservativeSyndicate.net, the adults in the room. Hey folks, if you're like me, you don't place a whole lot of trust in today's media for the real truth and facts regarding the volatile world of finance and politics. When I want the real scoop on money, I go to the most trusted source I know, my good friend and colleague, Bob Cardosa. Bob is a noted expert with a PhD in international finance who airs his nationally known, globally syndicated show, Robert Cardosa Live Daily, Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific Time. With Bob, you get the right information at the right time from someone who knows his business and can help you make the right decisions concerning yours. Again, Bob airs daily, Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific Time. Visit his website at robertcardosalive.com for information regarding stations and topics. That's robertcardosalive.com. Check Bob out. You'll be glad you did. History affirms a vibrant civil society thrives on freedom of conscience, religion, and choice. Any society absent these qualities stifles individual responsibility and accountability, thus enslaving its people by denying them the potential for goodness, creativity, and altruism. To that extent, oppression, coercion, and totalitarianism are multiplied exponentially. To counter such outcomes, the American Freedom Alliance was formed. The AFA is a nonpartisan, non-aligned movement which promotes, defends, and upholds Western values and ideals. The Alliance strives to build an international coalition of citizens of the West who together promote and protect moral values, democracy, and freedom. To find out more and become part of this valuable asset in the preservation of freedom and all its rewards, contact us at AmericanFreedomAlliance.org. That's AmericanFreedomAlliance.org. Let freedom ring.
Don't get your panties all in a bunch.
The Conservative Syndicate.net. Exposing weapons of mass distraction.
All right, hey, we're back, and you are listening to the Conservative Syndicate, Real Conservative Talk from Real Conservatives. I'm your host, John Matthews, along with Joe Hakos. And Joe, I know we got enough time here, I hope, but Joe's got another clip and some other things that we want to cover, try to get in during the time that we have remaining on the show. So you have the con, my friend.
Okay, so Hillary Clinton spent, what was yesterday? Yesterday was Sunday. So she spent a few days, so she had the press going out there and doing her dirty work with these, with the video or audio tapes of Donald Trump doing his locker room humor kind of thing. So what was Hillary doing? Well, Hillary was out there and she was memorizing all her answers. And so as we know, because she's good at doing that. So let's go through a couple of things. And this has to go with Hillary's experience, okay? So Hillary's been, let's just let Hillary talk about it.
Look, he has now said repeatedly, 30 years this and 30 years that. So let me talk about my 30 years in public service. I'm very glad to do so.
8 million kids every year have health insurance because when I was First Lady, I worked with Democrats and Republicans to create the Children's Health Insurance Program. Hundreds of thousands of kids now have a chance to be adopted because I worked to change our adoption and foster care system. After 9/11, I went to work with Republican mayor, governor, and president to rebuild New York and to get health care for our first responders who were suffering because they had run toward danger and gotten sickened by it. Hundreds of thousands of National Guard and Reserve members have health care because of work that I did. And children have safer medicines because I was able to pass a law that required the dosing to be more carefully done. When I was Secretary of State, I went around the world advocating for our country, but also advocating for women's rights, to make sure that women had a decent chance to have a better life, and negotiated a treaty with Russia to lower nuclear weapons. 400 pieces of legislation have my name on it as a sponsor or co-sponsor when I was a senator for 8 years. I worked very hard and was very proud to be reelected in New York by an even bigger margin than I'd been elected the first time. And as president, I will take that work, that bipartisan work, that finding common ground, because you have to be able to get along with people to get things done in Washington. And I've proven that I can.
And for 30 years, I've produced results for
Thank
people.
you, Secretary. She's produced results. Well, here's the question.
I've been in favor of getting rid of carried interest for years, starting when I was a senator from New York. But that's not the point here.
Why didn't you do it? Why didn't you do it?
Because I was a senator with a Republican president.
Oh, really?
I will be the
you
president.
You could have done it. If you were an effective, senator, you could have done it. If you were an effective senator, you could have done it. But you were not an effective.
Please allow her to respond. She didn't interrupt you.
Yeah, well, she just went out there and she mouthed the words that she had memorized. She went through that whole litany of things that she said she has accomplished in her time in public service out there for the people, and she had it all memorized down. And I mean, that's the reason why I played it so fast, because it was just, come on, it was mind-boggling and ridiculous to have her do it. I mean, she did it with the answer about the deplorable apology thing, and we heard that, and she just went through that litany too. And Donald Trump asked her, why didn't you do it? If you're effective, you had, as she said, 400 pieces of legislation to have her name on it as a sponsor or co-sponsor. How come you didn't get it? Her answer was, it was a Republican president.
Oh yeah, that you caught that too. This was my first response. I heard that. She went, well, I couldn't do it because we had a Republican president. So I'm thinking, okay, so how are you going to do it with a Republican Congress?
It's like, yeah, and there will be a Republican Congress. I mean, albeit won't be anything that's going to be effectual, because look at what we have now. There's really not a Republican majority in there right now. I don't care what anybody says. So we had that going. Where are we at with okay, yeah, we can probably do this. And the last thing I wanted to get to was the emails. We must get on to the emails here. And this is Hillary's same basic thing here with the emails.
She said the 33,000 emails had to do with her daughter's wedding, number one, and a yoga class. Well, maybe we'll give 3 or 4 or 5 or something. 33,000 emails deleted. And now she's saying there wasn't anything wrong. And more importantly, that was after getting a subpoena. That wasn't before. That was after. She got it from the United States Congress. And I'll be honest, I am so disappointed in congressmen, including Republicans, for allowing this to happen. Our Justice Department, where her husband goes onto the back of an airplane for 39 minutes, talks to the Attorney General days before a ruling is going to be made on her case. But for you to say that there was nothing wrong with you deleting 39,000 emails, again, you should be ashamed of yourself. What you did, and this is after getting a subpoena from the United States Congress.
We have to move on. Secretary Clinton, you can respond. We got to move on.
We want to give the audience
private sector
a chance
be put
here.
in jail, let alone
let's stop
after
this
getting
talk
a subpoena
now. That's
from
enough. It's enough. We can have the
Secretary
moderators.
Clinton, you can respond. Then we have to move on to an audience question.
Look, it's just not true. And so please go
you didn't delete them?
Allow her to respond, please.
Personal emails, not official.
33,000?
Well, we turned over 35,000. So
it was. What about the other 15,000?
Please allow her to respond. She didn't talk while you talked.
Yes, that's true. I didn't.
Yeah, she didn't talk when he talked. And I got these clips off of Sirius XM radio. So if you hear a talk show host in there, sorry, but that's how I got the clips. That way I didn't have to go through the whole damn debate all over and relive it again, because that would just sends me into just a little funny room, and I don't want to do that because, I like you guys. I want to be here for tonight. So we had Hillary denying the email, blah, 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 doing all the same thing. I apologize for doing it, blah, blah, blah. And the best part of the whole thing, and what's the headlines you saw out there today? Trump says Hillary should go to jail or be in jail. He's going to put her in jail. That's not what he says. Listen closely.
It's just awfully good that someone with the temperament of Donald Trump is not in charge of the law in our country?
Because you'd be in jail.
Secretary Clinton.
Yeah, be in jail, but that
But
would
when
be
you
after
talk
this.
about apology, I think the one that you should really be apologizing for, and the thing that you should be apologizing for, are the 33,000 emails that you deleted and that you acid washed. And then the 2 boxes of emails and other things last week that were taken from an office and are now missing. And I'll tell you what, I didn't think I'd say this, but I'm going to say it. And I hate to say it. But if I win, I am going to instruct my Attorney General to get a special prosecutor to look into your situation, because there has never been so many lies, so much deception. There has never been anything like it.
And so he didn't say he was going to put her in jail. He was going to go ahead and actually get a special prosecutor to look into it, and that they deem it necessary to convict her or bring charges to her because, let's see, if she's not the boss, then they don't have to worry about it anymore, like Mr. Comey is right now. He's so worried that she's going to be his boss, so he went ahead, was chicken crap all over the place, and so he decided he's going to run and hide, and he's going to say, name all the things that she's did and grossly mishandled classified information, but yet nothing to see here because that could be my boss, and I value my employment status, and I really don't want to die on a park bench somewhere with a bullet wound to the back of my head and someone calling it suicide.
Oh, the left was all over this this morning. CNN, Dana Bash compared Trump to Hitler by saying he's gonna put her in jail. That's what they did during Hitler's time, and completely leaving out the fact that what he said was, "I'm going to get a special prosecutor and then put you in jail." Okay, so let's put it in context. He didn't say he was just going to put her in jail, which, by the way, was another thing Abraham Lincoln did. Nobody talks about that. He put dissidents, he put opponents in jail. He just went out and had them arrested.
He suspended habeas corpus. Yes, that is a true and correct statement. Yes, he did all that. Yes.
Yeah. So, okay. So let's recite a little bit more about Abraham Lincoln. So, so there you go. And I think that was probably the highlight of the debate because it pissed off the left big time.
Oh, yes, I think so. I mean, that one went over so well. I mean, right after that, you heard the crowd cheering there, and that's when they came out and said, "We talked about this. You're not allowed to cheer on Donald Trump."
Yes. Okay, so we got just a couple minutes left here before we close up shop for the day. We got the next debate coming up on the 19th. This is going to be Chris Wallace, single moderator, I guess. It's supposed to be, I understand, another town hall type event. Am I right?
I don't know. It's Chris Wallace.
Okay, it was Chris Wallace. Yeah. Really? Well, we'll see how that comes down the pipe here. Wallace says he's part of that Fox crew that really wants to kind of be the guy that zings Donald Trump and brings him down, but won't admit it. A registered Democrat, by the way. Let's keep that on the record here. Everybody thinks he's an independent or a libertarian. He's neither. He is a registered Democrat. So let's see how that comes down the pipe here. And how I thought, my understanding is it's supposed to be another town hall type event. Well, let's hope that they get somebody out there that actually gets questions from both sides of the political asylum here, rather than just everything, like I said at the beginning of the show. Almost every single question that came from the audience or from media, social media, was worded in such a way as like, okay, either these were all leftists or they were all handed these questions. So we picked your name randomly, and here's the question we want you to ask.
Yeah, I mean, the most important question of the night was, can you say something nice to Hillary, or can you say something nice to Donald? Really? Because that's what's really important. That's what's really going to make
And I bet both of those people answered that with tightened sphincters. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it was just like I was like,
we're out of time, guys. We gotta go. We'll be back on the air tomorrow, same time, same station, 3:00 on the West Coast, 6:00 on the East. God bless you. Visit our website, theconservativesyndicate.net. Conservativesyndicate.net. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
Thanks for tuning in to this edition of the Conservative Syndicate, the nationally acclaimed, globally syndicated, politically incorrect talk show that seeks to tear down the imaginary wall of separation between church and state. We want to make you aware you can find and access all our show archives at our website, theconservativesyndicate.net, as well as our broadcast stations and times. That's theconservativesyndicate.net. We so appreciate you taking the time to tune in, and we so look forward to continuing to bring you the best in uncompromised talk radio available on the net today. And remember, folks, it doesn't matter how many times you get knocked down in life. It only matters how many times you get up. I'm John Matthews, along with Joe Hako, signing off until next time right here at the Conservative Syndicate. God bless you, and may God continue to bless America.